The following is a paid program for Principal Preservation Services, LLC.
Here's what's coming up on Retirement Reality Roadmap with Mike Koyanen.
And now they're selling you something with high commissions when you thought they were working in your best interest, and that's not true. So there's really about 5% of true fiduciary advisors out there, and we are one of those.
You have to do a lot of Roth conversions up front to make an impact on the back end. So you want to make sure you run the numbers for your own specific scenario to determine, is it even worth me doing a Roth conversion? Because I would say most of the time it's not.
But once you get in that distribution phase, it's a totally different, it's a game changer. And that's the big fear factor that people come into my office and are afraid, what do I do now? It was easy to save, so to speak, but now I have to start taking money out. I'm not adding money to it anymore. This is very scary. You have to make adjustments at halftime, or you get to the 50, you have to make those adjustments to have a successful second half. If you're doing the same plan in that second half in retirement, you're on the wrong plan.
And now, the host of Retirement Reality Roadmap.
Hi, and welcome to this week's show.
We have 30 minutes of great information designed just for you.
Don't go anywhere. The show starts right now.
Hi, and welcome to this week's Ask the Advisor, where you, the Twin Cities, email your questions into us and we answer them right here on the show. Gentlemen, are we ready?
We're ready.
Ready.
All right. Mike, my first question is from Paul in Minnetonka, and he writes, my money is tied up in a 401k and I will be retiring in 2 years. Would you recommend seeing an advisor now or waiting until after I retire?
Hi, Paul. Thanks for writing in. I believe you should meet with an advisor or us right away because a lot of things can happen in a couple of years. First of all, when you're in the 401k plan, you don't have a lot of allocation options, 15, 20 options. Half of those are typically target date funds, which we're not a fan of. And also the fees. A lot of people think you have a 401k, you don't have any fees. That's untrue. There's hidden fees in there. We can show you what those fees are. And you also don't have an advisor working for you. So why wouldn't you want to make sure that you can retire in a couple of years and stay retired? So a lot of things into that. I definitely recommend at no cost come in and we'll develop a plan for you.
You know, Mike, I know we talked about this in a past show, but it's never too early to plan. It's never too early to have an assessment done of what you currently have or what your retirement dreams and goals are so that you can get yourself on the appropriate course, trajectory to get there.
I agree.
And sometimes just a little tweak, right? Oh, you got this going well, but if you do it more like this could help you, right?
Exactly. And you're a couple of years away, and there's some time, if there are some things that we find could be an issue, we could get that fixed before retirement.
So just out of curiosity, some people will come in and they're well away from retirement. Have you seen that where maybe they're 15 or 20 years away? And is that a good idea to start then?
We love that, by the way, because you can probably get retired sooner than you think, and you can make the adjustments sooner. And what we find is when we're running the projections, they get a little excited and they stick to the plan. And they're actually, they're good students when we come in for all these reviews, when you get the planning done sooner, rather than, hey, I'm retiring tomorrow, let's do a plan. We can work with that. We prefer to start sooner.
Yeah, because I was 47 when I sat down with my first advisor.
Last year.
And I wish, exactly, and I wish that I had done it sooner. I really wish I had done it sooner. Joe, my next question is for you, and it's from Marcia in Bear Lake. And she writes, we just moved here from Michigan, and I'm concerned that our will and other financial documents may need to be updated. Can you guys help with that?
Marcia, great question, and we'd love to help you with your estate planning. In the office, we meet with clients all the time, and we're going through this type of information. We would actually recommend a trust in a lot of situations, as a will is contestable, and it doesn't keep you out of the expensive probate and the time it takes to go through probate for your beneficiaries. So the other reason trusts are really important is it includes the transfer on death deed, which is basically putting beneficiaries on your real estate. Also a healthcare directive for those end-of-life important decisions that will need to be made.
You know, there's probably a lot of people out there, Joe, that move from one state to another. And is it fair to say that different states have different rules and that, hey, you might have moved from whatever state to this state, and now it's like you really need to get things looked over because it might not be appropriate any longer? Fair statement?
Very, very true. As far as like the transfer on death deed, you're filing that in the county you live in. So you really got to update estate plans, timely. It's not just, who's going to take care of your children, when they're small, and then we don't look at it for 20 years. They do need to be updated as the future goes on because things change in your life, and it's really something that we look at on a regular basis.
Mike, my last question is from you, and it's from Jared in Egan, and Jerry in Egan, and she writes, I'm recently widowed, and I'm very concerned about keeping my money safe. Where can I find safety and security today in these market conditions?
Okay. Jerry, thanks for writing in, and sorry for your recent loss as well. There are a lot of options we have in our office, hence our name, Principal Preservation Services. We like to preserve our clients' dollars. We want it to grow as well, but there are a lot of safe options that you probably don't get with 95% of the advisors out there. They're not sharing what they don't have because they don't have the options we do have. There's things like structured notes with no risk. We have multi-year guaranteed fixed accounts with a nice good interest rate. We have fixed index annuities, things that you will not be able to get at the local bank, things you'll not be able to get from the local broker dealer. So we have a lot of different options for you, Jerry.
I think it's important here, Mike, to make that distinction as an independent financial advisor and the ability to work both sides of the aisle, as I say, which is the insurance world and the securities world. Take a minute to talk about, hey, not every advisor works in the independent financial advisor space, and those folks, really, their toolbox has a lot more tools in it, right?
Exactly. I'd like to show a video when clients come into the office that really breaks it down, easy to understand. About 90% of the advisors don't carry the license I have, which is the license to give advice, along with the life insurance agency we have as well. But then there's another about 5% of advisors out there who wear different hats. They have multiple different licenses, and you think that's a good thing, but reality is they're not telling you what hat they're wearing, what license they're using. And so they're flipping that hat on and off without telling you, and now they're selling you something with high commissions when you thought they were not. They were working in your best interest, and that's not true. So there's really about 5% of true fiduciary advisors out there, and we are one of those.
Mike, Joe, thank you so much. Hey, if you want more information about anything we talked about here today, pick up the phone. Let's start a conversation. Or go to our website. And more importantly, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're watching Retirement Reality Roadmap with Mike Koyanen.
Are you unleashing the possibilities of your assets in retirement? Hi, I'm Mike Koyanen of Principal Preservation Services, and we've been helping families with their retirement goals and dreams since 2014. We specialize in comprehensive wealth management strategies and retirement planning. Together, let's create a cohesive plan and maximize your assets in retirement. Call today or scan a QR code on the screen to set up your complimentary visit. Principal Preservation Services, where retirement dreams become reality.
Hi, and welcome to this week's Retirement Reality University. Mike, great topic today. Listen, you love football, I love football.
Right.
We do like different teams, but that's okay. We're going to talk about the halftime changes.
Yeah.
So let's set this up for everyone at home. You've sat at the table of sacrifice. You've put money away, put your kids through school. You've done all these things. You've got your big nest egg. We're moving towards that retirement day, right? We're moving forward. We're moving down the field. But now our strategy needs to change. We were in the accumulation phase.
Right.
It got us to the 50,
Right.
right? Feeling good, big chunk of money. So many people, too many people, use the same philosophy, the same playbook
Right.
there, rather than changing up the place, because there's a whole different playbook from the 50 in this way into retirement. So let's talk about what needs to change with someone on those halftime changes.
First of all, the big mental shift is going from that accumulation phase to that preservation and distribution phase in retirement. And most people don't make that change. They just think it's the same game plan. You have to make adjustments at halftime, or you get to the 50. You have to make those adjustments to have a successful second half. If you're doing the same plan in that second half in retirement, you're on the wrong plan. Okay, so you've been contributing to your 401ks, your IRAs, you're getting a company match, and you're just growing and growing and growing your money, well, then you stop working. What happens? No more contributions, no more employer sponsor plan, right? Match that you get. So now you have to focus on distributing your money. And there's an art to it. And if you do it right, you can get an additional maybe 2 to 5 years out of money, more money in your retirement plan if you do it right. Distribution in retirement is equally as important to know it as contributing when you're working those working years. So that's where we come into play. There's a term called sequence and return risk. 99% of the people haven't heard about it. It's a real thing. It's a real risk that people will take on in retirement if they don't do it right.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, because scenario one is I change nothing. I stay on this. I built up a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe I'm predominantly in the marketplace, right? And that accumulation is most people will use as the wealth builder, right? To get them to that first half, second half. And they just keep doing that and they say, okay, I'm going to take 3, 4, 5% out of this large amount of money, okay? And then the sequence of returns risk, which essentially says that if the year 1, 2, 3 that I retire, we have downward movement in the market, that's going to kill us. Like it could potentially wipe out a retirement. So we want to ensure that that doesn't happen. So you want to set yourself up so there's some principal preservation. So let's take scenario 2. Because scenario 1, you're not changing your philosophy at all. But in scenario 2, what are some of the things that people want to think about to get that more balanced approach going into the second half?
Right, and we look at, economists talk about maybe that 50-50 blend in retirement, or a 60-40 blend, that percentage from equities to bonds. Well, we know how bonds have been performing the last 3, 4, 5 years, not very well. So we've transitioned to the FIAs, the fixed index annuities, that you take 0 losses. So when you have those down years, when we look at the markets are on average, Mark, about positive 7 out of 10 years. Well, what do you do in those 3 years that the markets are down? Are you going to take it from the market? You're just locking in losses. Nobody wants to sell. I don't even like to return my items to Target if I don't have my receipt because they give me the sales price, right? Nobody wants to sell at a loss. Why are we doing that with our investments? We understand that back in 2009 or 10, we don't sell a real estate low. We buy low, we sell high, but we don't think about it with our investments. We need to have that same mentality. Right? So by offsetting some of your funds to a fixed index annuity, now you have an option in those 3 years the markets are down to draw money from. And what about a couple of years for the market to recover? It just doesn't pop up in a day, does it? You need another year or two to recover as well, and that's where those FIAs are going to come into play. So maybe 5 out of 10 years you're going to utilize the IRA in the market. You're going to use 5 out of 10 years to withdraw money out of the IRA in a fixed index annuity. You'll never have to lock in a loss, and you're going to have more money at the end.
You know, Mike, what I always come back to is, why wouldn't you get a second set of eyes to look at what you have? Why wouldn't you do that? You've worked your entire life to get this nest egg together. Isn't that worth 2, maybe 3 people, different companies, different philosophies, taking a look at what you have, different playbooks.
Right.
And then you can make the decision like, I think this playbook is the best one for my family, for our family moving forward. But if you're just going to stay there, and we know how it is, you go to church with them, you play golf together, you're a good friend, you feel like you're cheating on your advisor but you're not. You're getting a second set of eyes to look at what you have to make recommendations as to how you can make it better. So,
And nobody's going to care about as much of your money as you will. So when the advisor is frustrated, if you're looking for other options, it's your money. Nobody's going to care as much as your money as you. So you should get a second set of eyes, and we will not charge for that meeting. You come in, we're going to spend probably 10, 12 hours at no cost just to show you what you have, what you can be doing differently. And if you don't like it, great. You know, I wish you the best. But if you want to work with us, we'll help you out as well.
Mike, thanks so much. If you want more information on how we can help you by getting a second set of eyes to review your portfolio, do a little discovery and show you a different playbook, we'd love the opportunity to do that. Pick up the phone right now, give us a call, or go to our website. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're watching Retirement Reality Roadmap with Mike Koyanen.
Now more than ever, it's vitally important to review your current retirement plan and get an educated second opinion. Hi, I'm Mike Koyanen, and for many people close to or in retirement, this is a confusing time. As a local business here in the Twin Cities for over a decade, we have educated thousands of families on how to retire well through all market conditions. Let us help you. Call now or scan the QR code on the screen to schedule your complimentary consultation. Principal Preservation Services, where retirement dreams become reality.
Hi, and welcome to this week's Financial True or False. Gentlemen, I've got some great questions. Maybe I'll even stump you this week. Tate, my first one is for you. Every pre-retiree and retiree should do a Roth conversion. True or false?
Yeah, it's a common misconception, but I'm going to say false on that one. A lot of people think that they need to plan for retirement by doing Roth conversions, or even when they're in retirement doing Roth conversions. Now, for some people, don't get me wrong, it is good to do those. But for a lot of people, when we go through our planning process, we actually find out doing a Roth conversion isn't going to save you that much in the future, right? With RMDs coming out, things of that nature, when you're taking distributions, you have to do a lot of Roth conversions up front to make an impact on the back end. So you want to make sure you run the numbers for your own specific scenario to determine, is it even worth me doing a Roth conversion? Because I would say most of the time it's not. So it's a common misconception, I would say, for a lot of people thinking they need to do a Roth conversion.
You know, and it's a big term out there, the Roth conversion, but it really is an individual couple type thing to see if that is in fact going to be right for them. And I'll throw this at you too. Is there some way to calculate it on your own? Like, how could you you really got to see an advisor for this, because it's part of the overall puzzle. And I know some people probably Google Roth conversion, right. What do I need to do? And then they have some sort of answer. But really, this is one of those things where you need to meet with an advisor, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. A lot of people don't understand the types of income that they're going to be getting in retirement and how that's actually taxed as well. Social Security is not all taxable, right? If you have a pension, IRAs, Roth, it's all dependent on the amount of accounts that you have and the amounts that are within those accounts to determine how much Roth conversions, if any, are applicable to you.
Mike, my next question is for you. It's never too late to get a second opinion about your retirement plan, even if you're already retired. True or false?
That's true. What we're finding is a lot of people they don't even have a plan. You know, they get to retirement, they didn't have a plan, and now they're finding out, do I have enough money to stay retired? You know, we had one of our clients, when I met him, I said, you know, Daryl, what gave you the confidence to retire when you retired? What did your advisor show you? He goes, he didn't show me anything. He said, you should be good enough. That's all I need to hear. I was exhausted. Good enough.
I'm going to spend 20 years on good enough.
Exactly.
Or more.
Right. And when Daryl showed me his retirement plan, which wasn't a plan, it's just a pile of investments, it was so aggressive. It was not even in his wheelhouse where he should be investing. So I think when people get to retirement now, they're like, I think I need to have a plan. I need to make sure this money's going to last the next 25, 35 years, and make sure I know how to distribute my money and avoid taxes and get a second opinion, because, you know, to be honest, as long as you were one of those hard workers and grinding away and putting money for retirement, get that company match, it was fairly easy to accumulate your money in retirement. Now it's the scary part where you have to start distributing your money and taking it out, and you better have a plan for that one.
You know, the operative word here, the operative term is second set of eyes. Mm-hmm. What do you got to lose?
Exactly.
If I have a bum knee and a doc says I need surgery, is it not prudent to see another doctor before I cut myself open on the table, just to hear that in fact is the right route to go? You do need surgery for such and such, right? So obviously you guys recommend that. Let a second set of professional eyes take a view at what you have, and maybe you guys say, you know what? The person you're with is fantastic.
And we've said
they did a great job.
Yeah, and we've said that a few times. But you know, when they say the expression, when you're so close to trees, you don't see the forest,
yes.
Right? And sometimes that's just the case. And you've been in retirement, and you find out you've been doing the same thing for the last 20 years with the same advisor, and he hasn't adjusted your plan. Well, there's a problem. You should get a second set of eyes.
Tate, my next question is for you, and it is, most retirees and pre-retirees know the fees associated with their portfolio and investments. True or false?
Again, Mark, another false. I've been getting a lot of them here.
Tate, you're bringing the truth here. You're bringing the truth. That's false. We're bringing the truth.
Exactly. That's what it is. So a lot of people don't understand the fees that are associated with their accounts. Specifically talking 401ks here, they see the $25 maintenance fee on their quarterly statement, and that's what they think it is.
Well, that's all they're paying.
Yeah, exactly.
There are no fees.
It's just $25.
Yes.
Well, I tell people, you don't see the big Securian building in downtown downtown Minneapolis for $25 a quarter, right? They're charging you more, there's underlying fees, and then you actually look at smartasset.com, they came out and did a study, said the average 401k fee is 2.22%. I've also seen clients that come to my office that are working with another advisor, and the advisor doesn't fully explain their fees as well. And so they think they're getting charged one thing when really they're getting charged another. So you really want to understand the fee structure and what you're paying so you know if it's worth your while.
Yeah, and I'm going to go one step further because sometimes when we throw out, well, it's 1%, 1.5%, 2%, 3%, I don't think it registers with people, right? So let's take, have you ever seen an investment that you had to pay 4% on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's say for a minute that I had $500,000 in that investment and I'm being charged 4%. What is that per year?
It's about $20,000.
$20,000. So times 10 years is how much?
$200,000.
On a $500,000, $400,000 investment, those are my fees. So when we talk about the differences of 1 or 2%, it could be the difference. It could be a six-figure difference over time by getting it from 2 to 1 or 3 to 2 or 4 to 1.5. Fair statement?
Fair statement. I've actually seen where the fees exceeded the rate of return on certain investments. So when we factor things out, how long they've been investing, we'll figure this all out for them. And we've seen, especially in the variable annuity world or the real estate investment trust or something like that, high fee investment, the rate returns are just pathetic compared to what they're paying in fees.
Mike, Tate, thanks so much. If you want more information about anything we spoke about here today, give us a call in the office or go to our website. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're watching Retirement Reality Roadmap with Mike Koyanen.
Welcome back to Retirement Reality Radio with Mike Koyanen. Mike, great topic today. This is such a big one, okay? And I think a lot of investors, accidentally, they get this wrong. And the topic is accumulation versus distribution, okay? Because the average American will work 90,000 hours in their life. It's about 42 years for that nest egg.
Right.
And they've sat at the table of sacrifice and they raised their families. And now it's their time, right? They put together a sizable enough nest egg to meet with an advisor and say, I think we're there. I think that we have enough money now to maintain lifestyle, which most people want to do, through the balance of their natural lives. Well, here's the tricky part. How do I disperse those dollars to myself, okay, and make sure that I don't run out of money? But then I have to take into account all the other things that maybe I don't see coming down the road there. Right? So let's talk about the accumulation during the career first.
Yep. So like you said, all those hours you're working, which is crazy, how many hours we end up working in our life. 35, 40 years in a career. The interesting part is in those accumulation years, as long as you've been steady and putting your head down and grinding and being just consistent contributions and increasing those contributions during those working years and getting that employer match. And even going through some market cycles like we've gone through, the real estate bubble, the tech bubble, and even the coronavirus we've dealt with. Just keep grinding away, and your portfolio is going to turn out to be all right if that's what you've done. But once you get in that distribution phase, it's a totally different, it's a game changer. And that's the big fear factor that people come into my office and are afraid, what do I do now? It was easy to save, so to speak, but now I have to start taking money out. I'm not adding money to it anymore. This is very scary.
Yeah, that's super scary. And what we like to say is now you need a specialist. You need somebody that is a specialist in the financial services world in retirement, okay? Because I think it's a fair statement to say a lot of financial advisors can help you in the accumulation phase, because really it's just kind of nose to grindstone. I'm putting that money away. I'm putting it in smart accounts that have growth. A lot of advisors can help you there and do a very good job. Heck, you've seen a lot of DIY people. They do their own research.
Exactly.
And they've accumulated a solid nest egg. But now we need a specialist, someone that's going to ask you the right questions to say, okay, in the distribution phase, and could we put something in there, principal preservation and then distribution, right? Because we want to make sure that you've worked so hard to get to this nest egg number here. And I think too many people take risk with it when, oh, we got to take that risk off the table now. Those are your dollars. And I think most people you see would come in and say, I don't want to lose any money, right? I'm planning to stop working. I'm not going to contribute this anymore. So let's talk about, what is a retirement specialist? What do people need to be aware of when they sit down with someone like yourself and your company, Mike? What are the sort of things that you're going to be helping them plan to get into retirement?
Well, first of all, Mark, we have to be very truthful with the clients and help them understand what is at risk here, because we look at that last major recession, the real estate bubble. That was October 2007 to March 2009. That was 17 months. The S&P 500 dropped 57% in just a month shy of a year and a half. And so I asked the clients, I said, how long did it take to get your money back if you were not contributing? And they said, well, it's hard to understand because I was getting free money from my employer, I was contributing. I said, here's the reality is when you retire, you don't get to contribute anymore. And if you weren't, if you had the same risk you were with the S&P 500, it would take 49 months to get your money back. Now we're talking about a 5.5-year gap from when you were at the peak till you got your money back, not even including inflation. So it's actually longer, 5.5 years to wait to get your money back. I said, are you going to wait 5.5 years to start withdrawing your money? And they said, absolutely. I'm retired. I've been thinking about traveling and doing this and that. And that's a scary thing to address, because now you're in retirement and the last thing you want to do is start selling your money at a loss. Okay, so now we talk about preservation. Okay,
and listen, this isn't just turning on the faucet and taking money out. There are so many other things that a retirement specialist is going to help you with. How does Social Security fit in? How does my estate plan work? What can I do to mitigate taxes, right? How can I reduce fees? What do I actually have an income plan, Mike, that
right.
So I know every month of every year for the rest of my natural life, this is the check that's going to come in the mail to me to age 100, right? If I don't have those pieces together, then I'm essentially in the accumulation phase, not changed my strategy, and I call it hopium. Yeah. I hope it's all going to work out, right? Yeah. So we have to ensure that people don't do that. And I always say, call an advisor, right? Get on the phone. Hey, give us a call right now. Your team, so good at putting that second set of eyes on what you have and saying, here are our recommendations for you to attain your retirement dreams and goals. Number 1, we need to do this. Number 2, we need to do that. Number 3, and if nothing else, your eyes are opened up. And by the way, Mike, when people come in, do you put them in a headlock?
Oh, no.
And drag them down to the ground?
We don't lock the doors.
Okay. Yeah. And then, it's like the straight up horrible. No, tell people for a minute, what happens when they come into the office to meet with you?
Yeah. First of all, we have an awesome assistant. My assistant, Jess, been with me for about a decade, from England, so she has that nice accent everybody loves. We'll bring in even the warm cookies here about 15, 20 minutes into the meeting. We freshly make them there. But it's a no risk. And I just say, let your guards down. I'm not here to sell you anything today, not the next meeting, even not the next meeting after that. Our goal is to educate and learn. We want to get to know you. So that's a discovery phase. Then we do an analysis meeting. Then we do a solution meeting. If you want to implement it, great. If you don't, great. Well, handshake, I wish you the best.
Hey, pick up the phone right now. Give us a call. We would love to assisting you in getting you to your retirement dreams and goals. All right, we'll be back right after the break. You're listening to Retirement Reality Radio with Mike Koinen.
You're watching Retirement Reality Roadmap with Mike Koinen.
Thank you for watching this week's show.
And if you want information regarding anything we spoke about here today, hey, give us a call in the office or go to our website.
Principal Preservation Services, where retirement dreams become a reality.
The preceding program is sponsored by Principal Preservation Services, LLC.